Hello everyone, Glenda Mollet here. I'm in my craft room stamping with you today, and I'm going to show you how to make this super cute Snailed It bundle card. So the suite is called Snail Mail. The bundle is called Snailed It. And we're going to get started. Okay, just put the card where you can keep an eye on it. So Bermuda Bay, 8.5 by 5.5. A piece of whisper white, or a piece of white for the inside, that's 5 1/4 by 4. And then a piece of white for the front, that's also 5 1/4 by 4. Oh, lost my resin heart. Then a piece of white that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 to do the square. So there's an S on that piece. And then there's a P on this piece, and that's for, that's 2 1/4 by 5, and that's for doing all the bits and pieces. Bermuda Bay 3.5 by 2.5 to do the envelope. Some snail mail twine, 20 inches of each color. A die cut snail for the inside. A piece of the snail mail designer paper, 1.5 by 5.5. And then these are to create the mushrooms for the inside. So there you go. And then on the envelope I stamped snail mail in red. And of course the envelope. Now, get out my real red because I forgot. Now I've lost my red resin hearts already. Please, where are you? Oh, good Lord. Okay, not worrying about it. I will take these ones, though, and put them where I'm not going to lose them. I'll just have to dig out some more red ones. So just be careful when you open your kit that you don't lose your red resin hearts. Okay, step 1 is to take one of the white 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces and run it through an embossing folder. I'm using brick and mortar, but you can use whatever you have, or just leave it plain. You don't need to emboss it at all if you don't want. But if you're doing brick and mortar, just make sure it's straight in there because, you know, linear lines. And okay, going to emboss it with the machine. So I'm just setting that up and running it through. There we are. Oops, not enough room. That's done. Okay, so we'll take that, and we're going to attach the the snail mail designer paper that's 1.5 by 5.5, and it's going to go right there along the bottom. Use my trusty Stampin' Seal. Yep, use my trusty Stampin' Seal. There we go. Love this stuff. It does take a bit to get used to it, but once you get used to how it works, it's amazing stuff. Okay, so let's just put that up there. Now, line this up right at the bottom. Now you can raise it up a bit if you want, but I'm going to put mine right at the bottom. Like that. Now we need the twine. And this is 20 inches of each kind. And we're going to keep it together. And on the back side, going to add a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Somebody the other day said use your hands to advance it. Apparently it works. Who knew? I love all of these little tips we get when demonstrators get together. Okay, so it's going to go about there. Use my grid paper to make sure it's straight. There we are. Okay. Now, we're just going to tie a knot right over here on the right-hand side. I find when I do bows like this, it's easier if you tie a knot first, because then you don't have to fight with it. Then I put it onto my card front to finish it. Okay, there we are. Ooh, this stuff is very sticky. Right over top of your twine. That way it won't move. You have to be really careful though that you don't rip it right off the card with this stuff. Okay. Now that can go onto our card base. Just like that. Don't like that side because there was a bit of an overlap, and if there's an overlap, I like to have it on the back side, not on the front side. All right, there we go. There's that. Push it down well, and now you can tie your bow. It's a little more tricky when you have two of them, two tails instead of just one, but it works. I'm just going to tuck that in behind that top loop, hold my finger on it, and then pull so that I get the loops the size I want them. There we go. Now I didn't cut the tails off because I like the whimsicalness. That's quite a word, eh? Whimsicalness. Still too big. Of this whole suite, and I wanted to be kind of whimsical with my twine, but you can go ahead and cut it if you want. There we go. I'm not worried about where this bow goes. There we are. Okay, so we'll put that off to the side. Now I'm going to take the snail dies, and this it's a rectangle. It's not a square. It's a rectangle. Get my plate out here. Uh-oh, I reverted back to my bungee plate. Sorry. Okay, put it on there, and then we can cut. Oh no, wrong one. This is for that. Hello, Blondie. This is the one that says S on it. That's the one for the rectangle, and then I'm cutting the envelope at the same time. Okay, get those out of the dies. Now, glue dots. I just will grab my dimensionals at the same time. So to put this envelope together, I use glue dots. So first of all, get your bone folder and burnish it because you want it to lay as flat as it can to go through the mail. I love this little envelope. It is so cute. Okay, so now put it together dry run, because there's the flap that meets exactly, and then there's the flap that is a tiny bit short, and you want the one that meets exactly to be your bottom one. Okay, so step one, put a glue dot on the front of one of the side flaps, and if it's hanging over, just make sure it doesn't hang over so you don't seal your envelope shut, and then that attaches like that. Now I'm going to put a glue dot right here on the bottom flap, right on the very edge like that, and then just fold it up, and there we have our envelope. And then if you can see the glue dot, just push it back in. Okay, so now that can go onto our card. Don't glue the envelope closed because we're going to slide our sentiment inside there. All right, come back here, you. And I kind of overlapped it just a tiny bit right there. At a jaunty angle. Now, what did I do behind that? I did it down flat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on there so that it lays down flat. There we go. Now this one, put adhesive on it and put it on the card too. I found with these runners, it's easier. If you're going to put something on it that's popped up, put it onto your card first. So that's going to go right about, make sure it's straight because I'm using the brick and mortar and it definitely needs to be straight on there. Okay, so now we'll do some stamping. Take the part that says P for my pieces and Memento ink. Now, first of all, we have to stamp this in Memento and in Real Red on the envelope. So if you start with your envelope and Real Red, then when you switch to black, you don't have to clean it off. Because you're going to a darker color. There we go. Now you can clean that if you want. I will. Because I'm OCD that way. Okay, now Memento. And we need to stamp one of these. And then that's going to get punched out with the rectangle postage stamp punch. And then we need one of the mushrooms as well. Yep, going to be one of those days, and I've only just started. Much, much better. Okay. Instead of having one of those days, we'll just put the ink out of the way. Now, this is the rectangular postage stamp punch. I don't think that's what I just called it, but that's what it is. We're just going to line this up. Like that, and punch it out. And then this one is going to get die cut. Something on my plate there. Ooh, how did that get smudged? Good Lord. Okay. Like that. Line that up. The longer you take, the better your lineup is. Now, just because I'm doing this in camera and the way my day is going, I'm going to use washi to hold it in place. All right. Take my washi off. There's our die cut image. Now we're going to do a quick color job. Start with dark Real Red. Now the blends I'm using are dark Real Red, dark Bermuda Bay, light Flirty Flamingo, light Crumb Cake, and dark Daffodil Delight. But you can color in whatever medium you have. But let me tell you, you're going to want to have these blends. They are the most amazing things. I've been coloring with alcohol markers for a few years now before Stampin' Up! Ever got into them. And I love the way you can blend things. Of course, I'm not blending with these ones. I'm just coloring because, I don't know, it screamed, just leave me bright and cheerful. And this way, you guys can use whatever you have in your craft room. Just finishing up the big one, so that's done. Now, Dark Daffodil Delight for the polka dots, because I can. Now this would look cute in Bermuda Bay too. Okay, and now Flirty Flamingo for the other mushroom caps. And this is the light Flirty Flamingo. This paper has Blushing Bride in it, but we don't have Blushing Bride markers, so that's why I'm using Flirty Flamingo. Now Dark Bermuda Bay for the grassy stuff. Just one layer, not getting too fancy. I've been doing a lot of coloring with these lately because you know that beautiful True Love designer series paper came out, the black and white one, and oh my lord. One night I spent 2 hours coloring flowers. It was amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to go down here and just give the grass tufts a little bit of color as well. And then light crumb cake. I'm just going to make a shadow on the side of the mushrooms like this. There we are. That's that done. Now, I colored the envelope yellow in here on that one. We'll just do that. Quick job. I love how you don't get coloring lines. It all just kind of blends in together. There we go. Okay, so to put the Happy Mail in, I put a little bit of Stampin' Seal at the bottom and a couple of dimensionals at the top because I wanted it to pop up. Okay, get the card front. Oops, I just pulled my bow out and just pop that in. Now this one I did crooked. This one I'm going to do straight because it says to me you need to be straight. And look at this, I just untied my bow. Yep. So that's 3 things now. Maybe that will be it for the day. Lost my resin hearts. Untied the bow. And smudged the envelope. This bow, I think, might even be better than the last one I tied. They're difficult when you're doing this type of a bow. Okay. Come on. I just want to pull you tight. There we go. Okay, now this little doohickey can go up on dimensionals. There we are. That just goes up. Oh, I think one more. I think we'll just put one more right there. It's because I can. Don't be stingy on your dimensionals. That's when you have collapsed cards, and they're never a good thing. Okay, so this is going straight. This is going on here like this. Now we'll get the 2 white resin hearts that I have, and I'm just going to put them on the envelope. Like that. I don't know where my red ones are, so I have to get my box out. Now I know you guys all have them, so don't have to panic. And I'm sure I'll probably find them when we're done. And we'll just pop those on. Like that. And there's the front of the card. Okay, now let's do the inside. So this is what the inside looks like. There's no stamping. There's some die cutting. Oh, we need to die cut. Where are my dies? Here they are. 2 small yellow mushrooms. Now, keep it to one side because we need to use this to put the color in behind the big one. Because the big one cuts holes out, and we kind of want, we have to hand cut a piece to go in behind there. Okay, so I'll run those through. Yarn. Poke out the rest of the bits and put my dies away. Because I don't want that to be number 4. Somebody keeps messaging me. I wonder who that is. Sorry people, I'm busy doing videos. Okay, get rid of those pieces. And then I'm just going to take this. Oh, adhesive sheet would have been smart. Oh well, too late now. And I'm going to put some adhesive dots on the top of this red one. Like that. Put that off to the side for a sec. Yeah, adhesive sheets would have been a smart idea. Even though I keep them right here within arm's reach, I still forget to use them. Okay, so move these guys out of the way so they dry. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it on here, line it up with the bottom of that part and stick it on. Okay, now you just fussy cut around the outside edge like this. And then just trim off any excess. Get rid of all the pieces we don't need and bring this in. So we're going to first, and I find it, there it is. I lost my snail, but I'm just going to put snail in the middle and at the bottom because I'm going to slide that red mushroom in behind it. So I'm going to leave it over a bit. I'll put some adhesive on this. Man, that works. Okay, let's not put it on here. I love that trick. That's a pretty cool trick to put it on your hand and advance it, because there's no, it doesn't leave glue, it just advances it. Okay, so this I'm going to pop behind this dude like that. And this one, oh, glue issues. I'm going to do here at a jaunty angle. And this one I'll put here, right over top of it. There we are. That's the inside done. Let's put our adhesive on there. What a cool tip that was. So I learned that in my, we had an all-day team thing last Saturday online. That was one of the tips. Oh, look what I found. There's my resin hearts. Yay! I knew they were here somewhere, because the way I pack my kits, very rarely does one have missing something. Okay, there's glue there. It's looking for my glue eraser. So apparently these, you can find these in Dollar Tree. Who knew? I have to go shopping later. I'm going to go see if I can source them out. Okay. Now the last thing to do is put my name on the back. Always take credit for your cards. If you're not selling them, you can just sign them. But if you sell your cards, they all are supposed to have the copyright stamp on the back of them. Now, we don't sell just the stamps anymore. You can get them in a couple of our sets, though. Okay, there we are. There's that card for the Snailed It bundle, or Snail Mail Suite, whichever you like to call it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stamp and smiles, and bye for now.